Good morning. Good morning. That's it. Well, it's always a miracle to see all my friends sitting out here and to be able to share some of my ideas to the people I love most. So a big clap to everyone in this room first. Today, I'm going to talk something which I've never talked in the last 5 years. I've only talked about blockchain in the last 5 years, but today I'm not going to use that word blockchain, except what I just used. I'm going to talk on a subject called taking asymmetric bets. And it comes from my own life experiences. And I want to share some of my life experiences in taking asymmetric bets in your life and career. And before I explain why you should take asymmetric bets, let me give you a small definition of what an asymmetric bet is. An asymmetric bet can only be seen by people who are very close to you. And what they will see is that we have this wonderful person in our family, in our friend circle, and he has a great job. He's enjoying his life. He's settled. Great salary. Everything is going well for him. And suddenly he makes a crazy move. He changes his life direction suddenly into something which we all think is stupid. What went into that person's mind that he took a decision like that? I call that as an asymmetric bet. Why should an asymmetric bet be taken? I'm going to argue in this talk that every great and extraordinary item that has happened, okay? I'm not talking about the routine accomplishments. I'm talking about beyond extraordinary accomplishments. The only way to do that is to change the flow of your past and take future into your control, design it according to your own ideas and your own plans. In 2002 and 2003, a paper came in mathematical archives with a very innocuous title. It was about some curves in some Riemann space. When people looked very deeply into that paper, they figured out that one paper with a person who was literally unknown in mathematical circles, it had solved a 110-year-old problem called the Poincare conjecture. And the guy who did that was an unknown Russian mathematician called Grigory Perelman. So you are from academic institution and you know people who publish a lot, they have a reputation and we know who are the great scientists. But suddenly if someone emerges and you have absolutely no idea where the guy came from, then you know that an asymmetric bet has been met. Well, people initially thought that it was just a joke, but when deep analysis happened, it realized that some of new methods that were introduced in coming up with that paper was just not ingenious, but it was unbelievable. And the question is, why was that problem unsolved for 110 years? The answer is no one took that asymmetric bet. Now, you would think that the guy, Grigory Perelman, Russian scientist, now let me give you a small background as to what he did. He locked himself in a house with his mother in St. Petersburg, outside all communication, outside all connection, and he stayed in his room for 7 years while he was working on that problem. And only when he worked on that problem, that solution came. I will give you another example, and this example comes from 2,500-year-old history of India, when a new religion emerged out of nowhere. That religion, of course, is Buddhism. How did Buddhism, did you think Buddha came to Sarnath just like that and gave a speech and suddenly he got followers? No. He left everything that he had, his wife, his kids, his small kingdom, went into the forest, meditated, thought on the nature of things, nature of suffering, some of the problem that was troubling him. And then he came into And then he came with an idea and he gave a speech in Sarnath, and the ripple effects of his first speech in Sarnath is still now all over the world, just not in India, but outside India as well. So that was an asymmetric bet. So why should an asymmetric bet be taken? Because you want to make an impact in the world, and you want to make an impact inside you. You feel that your life is much more worth than what, at this point of time, the deal that has been given it to you. You want to go beyond. You want to go beyond, and you want to feel fulfilled. And maybe not every one of you will become a Buddha, and maybe not everyone will become a Grigori Perelman. But all of you, when you sleep in the night, you should feel that you had a fulfilling day. A day where you felt every single moment of time felt like music, and you felt you were totally in tune with the environment that you had. And that is why an asymmetric bet should be taken. Now, asymmetric bets are not foolish moves. You have to prepare for it. And there are two levels of preparations. The first preparation is the mental preparation, because you have to be ready inside you that you want to do something like this. You want to go beyond, and you have everything going for you, but you are just not happy. Something is missing. So that takes mental preparation. Sometimes it takes years of mental preparation. But just mental preparation is not sufficient. You have to do some financial preparation also, right? You should have no loans. I think that's very important. And you are going to walk into uncertainty, and you have to make sure that you have minimum amount stacked off so that you can live and eat properly. So financial preparation is also very important. And Grigori Perelman gave a talk. Okay, so I was talking about Grigori Perelman, but Grigori Perelman was not an ordinary person. He was one of the very few person who got a perfect score of 42. There are 6 questions, 7 marks each. He's one of the very few person who got a perfect score of 42 in a maths Olympiad contest, which a lot of mathematicians who are young kids, they know what kind of contest it is. The guy knew what he was capable of. And even then, he took that bet. So once you have taken, let's say you are mentally prepared and you have you're financially prepared, and now you are figuring out, okay, now you want to take an asymmetric bet. Just the fact that you want to do something is not sufficient to know what you want to do. You have to go through a journey of discovery. You have to go through a journey of, you just have to find out what is something where you want to make an impact internally and externally, and that means experimentation. No perfect idea was found at the first hit, at the first go. You have to try many different ideas, and most of those ideas initially will fail. So learning how to fail gracefully is a very important skill. That you only make a move which will not overexpose you, and if things go wrong, you still come out smiling and happy, ready to take the next bet. All right, so you are mentally ready, you are financially ready, you have done your experimentation, and now you got your real dream, you got the stuff that you really want to do, and you are going to dedicate your life into. Now, once you reach this stage, that means you are very, very confident that you have found your Poincare conjecture solution in your mind. And now you're going to dedicate years of your life. Once you enter into this asymmetric bet phase, where you are actually in the plunge, now there is no going back. Which means no matter what next brilliant idea comes or what next exciting things happen, you are absolutely impervious to it. You will simply focus your life into that one thing, and there is no exit. There's only one exit, which is once the bet is successful and you come out successful. So this is very, very important, that you cannot do a deep, impactful thing unless you take it to finishing. And that would need years of your life, and probably all of your whole life. I believe that taking an asymmetric bet is one of the surest ways to make your life fruitful. Our lives, every single day, is a number of small victories, and maybe an occasional loss. We get a lot of profitable transactions in course of marriage, in course of career, in course of interaction with other people. And sometimes you get an upset here and there. When you are taking an asymmetric bet, you are going after one big prize and you are letting go of everything else. You are fully, totally dedicated into this. I can give you examples from many different fields, but I'll leave you with one last field, which is the case of entrepreneurship. And all of you today use the product for Amazon, but what you don't know, that Amazon, when it was started by Jeff Bezos, he was already in one of the best investment banking firms where all those MBAs would die to be in. And he was the youngest vice president of D. Shaw, which was the premier investment banking firm at that point of time. He left all of that to sell books. How crazy was that idea? And today we have all been Amazon today. Almost all of us have been Amazon today. So I wanted to introduce this idea of keeping the possibility that you should take asymmetric bets, even if it looks upsetting to some of your friends and families. And I also gave you a roadmap as to how to go about doing it. And if you can take that life journey to the end of the whole circuit, you will just not be celebrated in your life, but even beyond. Thank you so much.